Hello hackers, it's that time of the year again. I don't know why, but many companies schedule their audits exactly before Christmas. I don't know why they're doing that, but that seems to be a pattern. Maybe there is some weird seasonality in the world, but yeah, great idea. Let's put more stuff on top of all the deadlines we have. Let's talk ISO, specifically 27001. This is a framework popular in Europe. It is 80-90% compatible with SOC 2. And let's try to understand what it is really. What is ISO 27001? It's a framework, but it's not a framework like Spring Boot or any other. It is a framework for process. It's a framework for company. Why would you need one? Imagine you have your company and you're doing some sort of business. And depending on what you're producing, you might have different security requirements for your business. How on earth are you gonna standardize this across all industries? What they came up with is that they said, okay, here's a company. Here's gonna be a framework that will define all the controls you should have to protect and secure information. And you as a company will have someone like integrator, consultants, whatever, and they will help you to adopt this framework to the needs of your companies. And then there will be another auditor, which is an external person, who will come to your company, sit with you, and really check if what is written in here is actually implemented in the way that is expected, right? So the interesting thing about this is that actually they don't look at your business. Well, they do, but not really, right? So what they really looking at is they're trying to understand what your business is about. What are you doing? What are you producing? Something, whatever, right? That's your functions. That's your business. Then you have policies written where it says how you're doing that in a secure way, that your information is secured. Right? That's what they care about. So they check the policies. And if there is a policy that is not written or not implemented, you automatically get a non-conformity, meaning you fail audit. You're not going to get your license. Right? But if you're doing a renewal, that's probably already not the case. You have all the policies written. The next thing they're going to look for is your procedures. How exactly, specifically in your team or in engineering, whatever, this policy is implemented. Let's take a policy about the backups. It says, well, backups should be about 30 days retention policy, etc. You would have your procedure written there, and which will explain exactly how your backup system needs to be configured to really fulfill the policy. That's what they want, right? And if that is not going to be written in any way, then you would have another failure in here, which will be probably minor non-conformity, depending on severity and stuff. But the good thing about this, you will continue with the license, right? And they will give you some time, or actually you need to tell them the time when you're going to get it fixed, right? So that's really a little easier on that front. So this is like a big X, and this is like a smaller one. And then another small one that you would get is, obviously for this process, you need to provide evidence that the people who actually the policies are written for and procedures actually follow the process, and that you have something substantial to prove in your logs, in your log database, an audit trail, whatever, that this is actually working the way it is, the way it should be. Okay? So if you're saying that the backups should be performed daily, you should be able to go to whatever the UI and make a screenshot showing that you have daily backups there. And if you have a part of the procedure that you says you should test the backups every month, they should be tests documented somewhere. It doesn't have to be in the UI. It can be anywhere, like Google Doc. You can write it on the. So that's one thing. I hope we're clear about that. What is important, right? So now you understand the concept. What to watch for. People will tell you, wow, you need to, remember your access controls and development process and whatnot, and do a refresher. Yes, it's all correct. But the important part we want to start with is that they will send you a schedule. And in your calendar, among all other 1,000 meetings that you have, you will have one meeting which says audit 20 minutes. What does it tell you? It tells you that you have exactly 20 minutes to share everything that you know about your systems and the security and how exactly you, how exactly your information is being secured in the company. And obviously, if you have some strong place where, let's say, you want to talk about software development process or some other things that you're really proud of, so use the time out of those 20 minutes. Make sure that majority of this time you talk about that stuff, right? So that you have very little time for them to ask some tricky questions. They still will, but you will win more time for yourself. And probably they will ask less questions. You have done exams in high school, right? You know what to do. Okay, let's move on. Back to the refresher. What are the important questions and concepts you need to remember before going to an audit? What the hell are you protecting, right? That's a very important question. Why do we have the system? And the system, by the way, called ISMS. Nobody knows what it is. It stands for Information Security Management System. And what are we protecting? We're protecting information. It says information security. Right, so that is important. You are protecting information. You do not protect systems. You do not protect your backups. You protect the information that is inside, right? That's very important. The next step is the trio of what you have in your responsibilities. You have people. This is your team. I don't know how many, whatever, right? You have some people. They follow some process, right? They have something written down. There's a playbook, and they, do dailies and deploy with pull requests and 4i principles and all of this. This is all the process, and of course technology. This is all of your systems that you have and databases and whatnot. That's what you need to protect. So people, process, and technology. Those are the trio. And you need to know what exactly the information you have here stored, what you exactly need to protect, and what are the controls that you have in there. For an engineering departments, most of the time they ask the top 3 controls that they would be checking is access control, secure software development, and some reliability and disaster recovery. For access controls, you need to tell, okay, those are your systems. Maybe you have some back office. There are some internal customers, or maybe there's external customers. You're going to be talking about access controls, what exactly you implemented. So, if you feel strong about this control, go for it. Explain everything that you do there, right? So that's very important. So that's access. Then you have your SDLC. LC. So this is your software development process. You need to talk from the beginning until the end. Okay, there is a requirements and the product manager and the product owner, whatever your terminology you're using, how you write it down in your Jira tickets and how you take it to work and implementing change, deploying to production. They all, use the time. If you feel confident that this is a strong process, go for it. They're not going to ask you about how exactly you're gonna do hashing of your passwords or how exactly you're gonna do encryption of your database. They might, but that's not top of their the concern. What they will care about is really the security. 4i principle for change management. Maybe they will ask you about threat modeling if you're doing anything of that. But throw on them everything that you know. If you do static code analysis, do it. If you do OWASP trainings and checking, do it. If you do pair programming with some architects, do it. Explain everything. Right? And then the third most common topic is the backups. And this is really about the information security. So if the information is gone, the information is not secure, obviously, right? So you need backups. This is very important. Just before going into the meeting, just make sure that, they're all green and there was no failures, or if there was a failure, then there was a communication about this. You received an email, notification, whatever, and your team discussed that at least. And that you have evidence. Evidence is important always. Okay, those are the 3. The next area is the CAPs, or corrective action plans. If that's your second audit, you probably have a couple. Imagine last year you had an audit, internal, external, there were some findings, and together with the auditors, you presented, like you worked out with the team, what are you going to do about those findings? And the auditor gave you thumbs up. Yes, it's good. They liked it. There somewhere in Jira or whatever, right? So go take a look. What was there about? And you should be able to report on the progress. You also might have some risks that are open. You also can probably go to Jira or whatever the tool you guys using. Find all the ones that are assigned to you, and also read up and take a look what's inside, right? In the best case scenario, obviously, you've been doing something about them, but most of the people don't, and that puts us into a really tricky position. So what are you going to do about it? There are two most common wrong answers to give. The number one wrong answer is that you had no resources. This pretty much gonna invalidate the entire system. The whole system, the whole purpose of the system will be about integrating this system into your company. That leadership know about this. They all review the risks, they all review the caps all the time. Send the reminders everyone, put the KRs, etc. Doing something about it. If you're saying there is no resources, it's bad. You're just gonna make more troubles for your GRC team. And they will have to deal with a lot of brown stuff. So similar to that, that's not a priority. This is really pretty much the same, right? No prio. If that's not a priority, that means security is not important for the company, right? That's not what we want to say, right? What are the good answers? Maybe if we don't have better ones. Better ones being everything is solved and we resolved all the corrective action plans and made progress. Okay answers to give are, let's say we face some technical difficulties. Talking backups, right? You have a database that is, 50 terabytes and it really takes a lot of time to make a backup of it. You would say, oh, we've tried this solution and that solution, this didn't work and this was working, but then the restore was incorrect or whatever. Assuming that is true, but you can always refer to that and say like, hey, we've planned for this work, we spent like that many hours, whatever. We've tried to make it happen, we've tried this vendor and that vendor didn't work. Well, that's a good reason. And you just say, well, the risk is still open. We're reviewing it on every quarter in our risk committee and, cannot really solve that. It's really hard to solve. Can you believe that? Similar to that, you might refer to some external factors. External factors being, vendors not responding, or there were like some incidents, the stuff. Of course, assuming that's true, and you can document and present some evidence that you had an email exchange with someone, they told you something, and blah blah blah. It's in progress. We're working, and of course, for all of this, you need to have risks created and present the progress. And of course, if you have all of these, no progress made, talk to your GRC team. Like now, drop everything. Just go. Just go. Like right. Find your CISO, find your analyst, go just talk to them, like stop, full stop, okay? Because also the problem is, if you have too many of these risks with no progress and too many caps open, your CISO or SMS manager, they will get like another major non-conformity. They will pretty much, the auditors will tell you, guys, you have so many caps open, out of 20, you did only one, that's not enough. Okay, they will tell you this needs to be resolved in 2 weeks, and also the whole process of reviewing the caps should also be reviewed and resolved in 2 weeks. What does it mean? You will have a very nice Christmas, just working and figuring this stuff out. So yeah, don't do that. Go talk to them. Go talk to your GRC team, and yeah, keep your pens clean and happy hacking.